Marjorie Taylor Greene has finally come to the realization, and she told the world in a recent podcast appearance, that MAGA was a total lie. Nothing but a scam. Make America great again. That ain't happening because Donald Trump conned everyone. And if she'd stopped right there, she'd have been completely correct. But she had to go and add something that made it seem as though she still doesn't get it. But here is what Marjorie Taylor Greene said during a recent appearance on the Kim Iversen show. Greene said, MAGA is, I think people are realizing it, was all a lie. It was a big lie for the people. She went on to say that Trump has completely turned on his base and is more worried about serving the big donors who send money to his PACs and have pitched in for his new ballroom. Those are the people that get the special favors, the government contracts, they get the pardons, and it's the foreign countries that are running the show here. It's the major big corporations and what is best for the world. That's really what MAGA is. I'm sorry, we've got a civil war practically breaking out in Minnesota. Can we not care about that? I do care. I don't know if you understand, Marge. The only reason there's any kind of unrest in Minnesota is because of what Trump did. If they pulled ICE out of Minnesota this second, it'd be over. Like, that's it. That's all it would take is Trump to undo the dumb thing he did. But I don't think you get that. I also am annoyed that you said he turned his back on his base. That would imply that at one point, everything Trump did was for the people. And he only recently became a guy who only cared about lining his own pockets and giving in to the wealthy donors. Which begs the question, were you in a coma throughout his entire life? Not just his first administration. But have you just been in a coma this whole time? Because that would be the only plausible explanation a human being could have to think for a second that Donald Trump ever did anything to benefit anyone other than himself or people who could then benefit him. His entire first administration was nothing but that. Overcharging Secret Service agents to stay at his own golf resort when he could have given them the rooms for free. Lining his pocket to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, securing trademarks in China, including for voting machines, getting trademarks for his own daughter from China and other countries. Like, did you not see any of that happen? Furthermore, show me one piece of legislation that Donald Trump signed into law during his first or second term that benefited the vast majority of the American public. Anything at all. Like, I'll take something like, hey, let's not, beat people up law. But no, nothing happened. He didn't turn his back on the base. He never had their back to begin with. It was a con from the beginning, Marge. There wasn't a shift. There wasn't a turning point. There wasn't a realization within Trump one morning that, hey, what if I just did this to my own benefit? It's what it always was. You and millions of others were just too dumb to see it. And I'm afraid that even now that you're out there trashing Trump, which I love, you still don't get it. You're not an ally either, by the way, to all the Never Trump folks out there. The last thing you did before you resigned from Congress was try to pass another law targeting transgender people. Like, you're still the same horrible, vile piece of human excrement that you have always been. You're not getting better. You're not endearing yourself to the public. You're like literally the worst of both worlds. You're the worst of MAGA. You're the worst of what a anti-Trump Republican could be. You're just all around terrible. And you're still too dumb to know that it was a con from the beginning instead of just some kind of new thing Trump is trying to do. Have you, or someone you know, ever had your identity stolen, been a victim of fraud, or been hacked, scammed, doxxed? How does it make you feel that so much of your information is available for anyone to purchase? That's why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family and friends. Aura protects your privacy by identifying data brokers who are selling your information. Aura takes care of the hard part, automatically removing your information from these sites and, most importantly, keeping it off. There are a lot of services that offer this too, but none of them offer as many features as Aura and for the same price. Aura is all-in-one digital security. You may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked, but then leaving the back door wide open. You get alerts if your personal information is found on the dark web. They provide real-time fraud alerts for both credit and banking. They have 24/7 monitoring to help keep your identity secure. They provide a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, you name it. And they have US-based support available around the clock if something does go wrong. And if anything does happen, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. And they have US fraud experts that are ready to help you 24/7. It's one app that provides every layer of protection. I don't want to leave myself vulnerable online, and you shouldn't either. And that's why I personally use Aura. Try it for yourself. Go to aura.com/Farron to try 14 days for free. That's enough time for Aura to start scrubbing your personal information off these data broker sites without you having to lift a finger.